Good morning. Good morning. It's great to be here. Even though it's a kind of a slow time in education these days, no? Thank you for the invitation to be here, Kate, CEA. I see a lot of friends in the room. Fran, you know, when we reopened schools in Connecticut, I saw you more than I saw my kids. And I'm thankful for that because you know, we were able to keep students first and do the impossible then. Rep. Leeper, thank you for your leadership. Rep. Brown, thank you for your leadership. I see some friends, Hilda Santiago here, Chad Cardilla was in the room, Jan Hockadell. She and I also spent a lot of time thinking about how to reopen schools in a way that brought people together. And Kate, I want to thank you for your strong leadership. I want to thank you for not just speaking, but providing voice to educators and communicating what matters most. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for your leadership. We've come together at a time now where public education across the country is under attack. If that does not get you motivated to step up more than you ever have, check your pulse. The things that we know, education being the great equalizer, providing opportunity for students, is being questioned now, whether it's vouchers or attacking schools or what they're teaching. The federal government pretty much checked out of the role of public education. So I just want to frame my remarks today by saying what we've taken for granted is under attack. Why does this matter to me? Because 45 years ago, you wouldn't bet on little Miguel Cardona, Hispanic English learner in an economically disadvantaged community, in one of the schools that was identified as one of the most struggling schools in the district that is one of the least funded districts in the state of Connecticut. But as a 5-year-old, I had only what that school provided. I didn't have the luxury of the after-school programming. My parents worked so hard. They couldn't bring me to after-school programs or enrichment programs in the community. I had only what that local neighborhood school could provide. John Berry Elementary School. And there I had teachers that saw things in me that I didn't see. There I had a system that didn't see my deficits but saw what I could bring to the table. I went on and at Wilcox Technical High School, learned how to fix cars in a public technical high school in Connecticut. And there I had another teacher who saw something in me that I didn't see. I love fixing cars. I'm not that good at it anymore, but she said, Miguel, have you ever considered becoming a teacher? It was what the public school provided me that gave me the opportunity. It was Gary O'Neill at the elementary level, Linda Ransom at the high school level, that gave me the opportunity to see something in myself that I didn't see before. Our public schools do that across the country, across the state. Miracles are happening every day. Yet, somehow, we've allowed the narrative of public education to be hijacked, and we've sat around watching it get hijacked and playing defense. We've become complacent. It's my belief that it's on us to level up what we're doing to protect public education and support our educators. You know, when I became Secretary of Education, we had hundreds of thousands of vacancies in the teaching profession. They talked about a teacher shortage issue. I said, no. The teacher shortage is a symptom of a teacher respect issue. How difficult is it to motivate someone to say, get into this profession when we're demonizing professionals, when we're saying, you know, they're heroes on Monday and by Thursday they're the reason why schools weren't open? We had work to do. That's why I fought to talk about the ABCs of teaching, because we need more acronyms in the profession. We don't have enough. Agency. We need to provide our educators with agency. They are professionals. We need to provide our educators with better working conditions, right? Better working conditions. What that means is that we have enough school social workers, school counselors in the buildings to provide support for the students. It means that we have pathways for educators who want to try different things, go into teacher leadership. You don't have to leave the classroom if you want to be a teacher leader. Different pathways for growth, better working conditions. And it also means that we're not forcing teachers to teach in 98-degree classrooms in June. We wouldn't do that any other profession. So agency, better working conditions, and C is competitive salaries. Why have we normalized that teachers in our country get paid 24% less than people with similar degrees in other professions? Why have we normalized that in over 30 states in our country, teachers qualify for state assistance? Why have we normalized the fact that in this country, this is the only profession where you have to work for free for 4 months before you walk into it? And then we wonder why we have shortages? We need to do better. I often talk about this martyrdom that we've accepted in the education profession. If I talk about these issues, that means I'm not for kids. That's baloney. We help our students by making sure the profession is attracting people that want to give back to their community, but people that can focus on their jobs. Why have we normalized teachers having to get a second job, driving Uber or bartending to make ends meet? That's unacceptable. We've normalized that in this country. We have to step up together. Who better than us to stand up for what we need to do to elevate this profession, to bring public education back on everyone's radar? You know, I keep thinking, oftentimes we're in a defensive posture. We're defending public education instead of talking about the values of what it does. It took a kid like me 45 years ago and made him believe he could advise the President of the United States. I want to challenge complacency, and I want to ask us, who better than the people in this room? Who better than us to talk about where we're going to go as a country and as a state? You should be the authors of Project 2029. What are we waiting for? We are who we need. We are who we need at this moment in our country. And I stood in this room 5 years ago, facing the impossible, in this same room, doing press conferences with the governor, and with some of you in this room saying, we're going to work together, and we're going to figure out how to reopen schools safely, and we're going to get it done, and we got it done because of you. We faced the impossible head on, and we got the job done. And y'all did so well, you got rid of me for 4 years. Well, I'm telling you now, there's another storm. And we're going to need to muster up the strength, the courage, the resolve to say, we're going to put students first, we're going to put public education first, we're going to share the value of public education, what it does for our country. I've always said, and I told the governor when I was commissioner, a strong education system is your best economic driver in this state. And today I want to double down on that. And I'm thrilled to work with some folks in this room to talk about how we're going to transform pathways into college and career in this state. We need to lead the country in these efforts, and we will. We're in the middle of a fight right now to protect public education, to lift the profession. We have a lot riding on it. We have a lot riding on it. A few years ago, you may not know this, I don't know that I've ever said it publicly, but a few years ago, my daughter was thinking about going into environmental science, and it's a great profession. We talked about it, and she had the opportunity to volunteer at a summer camp for children and adults with disabilities. And I'll never forget, she came home and she said, "Papi, I want to do this for the rest of my life. I found what God had planned for me." She goes, "I want to be a special education teacher." My heart filled with pride, knowing that this is the best profession at the best time when our kids need us the most. Then she looks at me and she says, "Papi, could you do something about the salaries?" I'm like, "Damn, Celine, I'm trying." There's this thing called Congress, and there's not a fight that I would rather roll up my sleeves for and fight with you than to protect public education. There are 50 million students across the country whose best shot at making it in life is what their local public school provides. So as I look around the room, I see legislators, I see Board of Education members, I see city councilors, I see state reps, I see educators. But what I see is a community of people that want to wrap their arms around the kids of Connecticut and say, "We're going to do our best for you because you deserve it." In the words of the late, great Congressman John Lewis, "If not us, who? And if not now, when?" Let's get to work.